Welcome back to Dark Corners Streaming.
I am Dracula. I bid you welcome.
I've never made any attempt to seek out 1974's TV movie of Dracula, largely because Jack Palance is not my idea of Dracula. But you really shouldn't judge without watching, and it's right there on Freevee. Plus, it's written by Richard Matheson. This was the second such collaboration between Palance and director Dan Curtis, best known for creating gothic soap opera Dark Shadows, and it was originally called Bram Stoker's Dracula, until Francis Ford Coppola rather co-opted that title. Which is interesting because there are elements here far closer to Coppola's film than Stoker's book, notably the flashbacks to the life of Vlad the Impaler, and making one of the female characters the reincarnation of Vlad's lost love.
This one.
Though in this case it is Lucy rather than Mina, meaning that partway through, Dracula's motives change from romance to revenge. At the start, I was very impressed with the atmospheric landscape photography, which continues throughout. But I was genuinely surprised by the lack of atmosphere, or at least atmosphere I expected, in the interiors. Dracula's castle lacking the usual gothic trappings. This is obviously deliberate and is part of a larger decision to steer away from the inhuman Dracula towards a more grounded portrayal, perhaps struggling with his own nature.
Overslept is more the word, I fear.
I don't think that's a bad idea per se, but without Dracula as a mysterious and unknowable threat, what you're left with is rather prosaic. Just looks like he's out for a stroll. I found it undercut the horror, and the film is at its best when it lets Dracula be Dracula.
You play your wits against mine. Me who commanded armies hundreds of years before you were born.
With the exception of the changes already mentioned, this attempts to cleave quite close to the book, with the caveats of budget and, more noticeably, runtime. It's hard to do Dracula faithfully in 100 minutes. It was probably necessary to excise some of the characters, but reducing the vampire hunters down to just Van Helsing and Arthur Holmwood leaves it feeling thin.
Have you ever heard of Nosferatu?
We're also lacking such great moments as the vampire Lucy hunting children, a chilling scene in the book and in Hammer's version. But I think the largest problem with the adaptation is that it's trying to serve two masters. Major changes have been made to Dracula's motivations, but his actions are unchanged.
Dracula.
His pursuit of Mina after Lucy's death, having previously focused so much on his lost love, feels pretty meaningless. And the sidelining of Mina's fiancé Jonathan Harker means that for the latter half of the film, there really is no one with a potent personal plotline.
What are they?
They're vampires. We have to destroy them.
Made worse by the late introduction of Mina. It's also the case that while new action scenes have been added, and while it does occasionally feel rushed, it doesn't feel pacey. It doesn't thrill. Overall, this was better than I expected, and though I found it flawed, there is stuff to enjoy, except the across-time love story, which I find stupid in every version that sees fit to include it. Still not happy with Jack Palance's Dracula, though. Sorry.
You are now in my domain, gentlemen.
Thanks for watching. What do you think of this version, and where do you rank it amongst other portrayals? Let us know in the comments below.